But I just want girls to know that surgery isn't going to change who you are on the inside. That's a completely different route, and I've got to love myself now through hours of therapy and speaking to people. So girls, I wanted to talk to you about the pressures of beauty, because sometimes I feel as a woman, you just can't win. Do you feel like that?
100%. And I think it's not even against like the public or other people that you can't win, it's against yourself. I was scrolling on my phone and I came across pictures of about 4 years ago where I am so skinny. I probably wasn't over 8 stone. And I remember the comments that I got were telling me that I was fat. And I remember looking at the pictures and thinking I was fat. And I've just looked at them today and I am tiny. And it just shows that even then, when I was like fit, healthy, really small, I still wasn't happy with my body, and I was still trying to fight for this image that I don't even know what that was, because now, like, if I look like that girl now, I would be happy, but I'm still in the same position. I'm still not fully happy.
We live in a world of like patriarchy and misogyny, and like women are identified and valued based on how they look and how beautiful they are and their appearance, and then men are valued on their professional success and strengths. And I think growing up, it was always to be valued, you had to match or fit into like a box of like the Eurocentric standard of beauty. For me personally, I remember growing up and looking through magazines, and it was always like white women with blonde hair, blue eyes, petite, and I could never see myself. It echoed, black isn't beautiful, you're not represented because you're not beautiful. I think as a young person, you kind of like internalize that like nearly like micro racial aggression, and like you don't see yourself as beauty, and you just see like Eurocentric beauty. Like now there's like more representation of like different types of beauty and cultures.
Do you think that's changed, in your opinion? Do you think it's going the right way?
Definitely. I think anytime I walk past a campaign, whether it's in Boots or it's in the airport, if I see someone brown or black or someone of any ethnic minority, I stand there for at least 2 minutes and I smile, because I didn't have that, and I feel like that's a privilege that like white people have.
That's so
and it's
crazy.
so powerful just to see yourself.
So the fact that you had to go through that, also while going through the struggle of body image and skin and all sorts, it's just another added level of pressure that we didn't even experience. And I know how hard it was to experience what we did. So not actually seeing yourself, it's just incredibly sad.
The beauty standard as a whole is like based on trends, isn't it? Like
100%.
10 years
even
ago,
bodies, like body shapes.
10 years ago, it was like you had to be like so skinny, no boobs, no ass, like literally a twig, size 0 preferably. And then now it's all about curves, right? Everyone wants to look like Kim K, with the big boobs, the big bum, tiny waist, and it's constantly changing. And I feel like our mindsets are changing as well, and thank God it's changing and we are more inclusive. But I think it's also quite dangerous, because then there's a lot of people who are trying to fit the mold of like the new standard of beauty, and then we have surgery and a lot of like cosmetic procedures that people then regret because they're following a trend.
I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't had filler, because I have, and oh my god, when I had it the first time, it was actually horrendous. And I was 19. I don't regret it, because it definitely made me realise what's important, but I just think it's so dangerous because the girls that are seeing these kind of beauty standards are so young, and I was so impressionable at that age, and these girls are seeing it.
When I was young, growing up, I got bullied for the way I looked. Like I'd wake up in the morning, and rather than worrying about like my friends or my schoolwork, I'd look in the mirror and have to tie my hair up and be like, oh my god, my ears are hideous, like I hate myself. And that's not normal. So I got that done in school, and that was like the first thing. And then when I was older, I had my boobs done at like 19, and I had a nose job. I've always been like an introvert, like I'm not the loudest person in the room, and I genuinely believed having bigger boobs and a smaller nose, I'd wake up and I'd be like the confidence of like Beyonce. I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh my god guys, hi, I'm here. But I just want girls to know that surgery isn't going to change who you are on the inside. That's a completely different route, and I've got to love myself now through hours of therapy and speaking to people. Like when I went into the villa, I knew I'd be picked apart for like my past career choices maybe, or sleeping with guys on the show, but I didn't think people would rip apart my appearance at like 15.
But I just think being a nice person, why is that not enough?
I don't think you can win. I
No.
honestly don't. Like, I was ugly before my surgery, now I'm plastic with my surgery. Like, you can't please anyone.
You would never go up to your best mate and go, you're fat, you're ugly. So don't say them things about yourself. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense that we're so nasty to ourselves as well.
Yeah.
It's okay to say that you like something about yourself. We're taught by society, like you said, to dislike things, and we're taught to
Yeah.
pick ourselves apart. But really, I love that I'm funny. I love my boobs. I like my small waist. I love that I'm kind to people. Do you know what I mean?